Right, this is the second video in the rounding numbers series. It's just a quick one. Make sure you've seen the first one first. And in this video we're going to look at what happens on the other side of the decimal point. So what happens when we're rounding to the nearest whole number, what happens when we're rounding to the nearest tenth of a number. Okay, so let's start with that block of concrete. Let's start with the decimal point. Okay, so we start with the decimal point, and on one side we have units, tens and hundreds, and on the other side we have our tenths and our 100ths. If you want to carry on, you can go on to thousands as well. So there's our, oops, I don't see what happened there. There's our grid, and we'll bring that decimal point down and start there. Now the same rules apply. When we're rounding, we're always looking to the number 1 to the right of the number that we're rounding. So if we're rounding to the nearest whole number, the nearest unit, we're looking on the other side of the decimal point to see what's happening with the tenths number. So let's take any old number. Let's take 26.4. Okay, 26.4. So we've got, we're rounding to the nearest whole number. So we're saying, is this number nearer to 26 or to 27? So we go one space to the right and we have a look at the 4. If the number is 5 or above, we round up to 27. If the number is 4 or below, we stick at 26. Okay, because it's the 4, we're going to stick with 26. 26.4 rounds to the nearest whole number at 26. Okay, let's take another one. We've got 912.8. That's 100. Okay, so 912.8 rounded to the nearest whole number. So we're looking at the unit, we're saying, is this closer to 912 or 913? Okay, we're rounding to the nearest unit or nearest whole number. So we move one space to the right and we look at this tenth. If it's 5 or above, we're going up, 4 or below, sticking with our existing number. So, because it's the 8, we're going to move on up. Make this into a 3. So we're saying 912.8, when rounded to the nearest whole number, rounds up to 913. One more, just for luck. So let's go for 777.5. Okay, so we're saying, is this number 777.5? That was a rubbish decimal point. Is that closer to 777 or is it closer to 778 when we're rounding to the nearest whole number? So go one space to the right, we're looking at this 5 and we're saying if this is 5 or above, we're going up, 4 or below, sticking with our existing number, it's the 5, so we're going to take 777 to 778 when rounded to the nearest whole number. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to move out of the way so you can see the number. Let's go on and see what happens if we're rounding to the nearest tenth. Same principles apply. So, pop up our decimal point, units, tens, hundreds, and then on this side, tenths and 100ths. I think that's fine. Let's go that way. Let's start with a number. So let's have 64.23. Okay, now this time we're rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay, we're looking at this column here. If you find decimals difficult to deal with, it's sometimes makes it easier to convert those numbers into pounds and pence, because you've been dealing with pounds and pence ever since you were in the foundation phase, and I know that you find money really easy to deal with. So if it helps, translate it roughly into money and you will find that it makes much more sense. So you can see this as 23p, okay? 20, 2 tenths, 3 units or 3 pennies, okay? So if we were looking at this as money, it would be £64.23. and we want to round to the nearest tenth. So we want to say, is this closer to £64.20 or £64.30? 64.2 or 64.3. So what we do is we move one column to the right and we have a look at the hundredths. So if this is 5 or above, we're going up to 30p or 0.3. If this is 4 or below, we're sticking with 0.2 or 20p. Okay, because it's the 2, because it's the 3, get it right, we're going to stick. Okay, so 64.23, or if you want to think of it in money, £64.23, rounds to the nearest tenth to 64.2 because of this 3. Okay, let's try another one. So let's have 848.57. Okay, so 848.57. If you want to think of it in money terms, £848.57. Okay, 5 tens, 7 hundredths. If we're rounding to the nearest tenth, then we need to be looking at the hundredths column. 5 or above, moving up, 4 or below, sticking. Okay, because it's a 7, we're going to move on up. We're saying, is this closer to £848.50 or £848.60? Because of the 7, we're going to go up to the 6. So 848.57 rounds to the nearest tenth to 848.6. I hope that makes sense. Good luck everybody, enjoy your weekend. Bye now.